come on, follow me. I got to show you something. You know, it was a couple months ago that I posted this video on this new miracle protectant that I had developed, and I had coated this engine cover on this E500. Now this is 2 months ago. Look at it. It's still absolutely beautiful. The thing that amazes me is this doesn't collect dust like most protectants. So I put the video up and I asked everybody to guess what the protectant was. Nobody was able to guess it, and I said I'll delete the video if no one's able to guess it, and I did that. But I've had quite a number of requests. Can't you just sell us the stuff if you're not going to tell us what it is? Well, okay, maybe I'm going to do that. Now let me take you inside and show you the 300D. Those of you who watched that previous video may remember what I did to this piece right here, but before I talk about it, I'm going to go ahead and post that video again. It will be excerpts, so I'll shorten it up, but at least this will give you the background of what I'm talking about here. I'm going to open the hood of this E500, and I want you to take a look at this engine cover here. Now you'll have to admit, this looks pretty nice for a 20-year-old car, but look at how clean that engine cover is, and look at how dust-free it is. And you're going to say, well, Kent, you went ahead and just cleaned that just before you started filming this video. No, I have to be honest. What I did to this, I did 30 days ago. I put a product on this cover, wiped it all down, and I've left it. And I've driven this car quite a bit. Today I rolled in, opened the hood, and I said, look at that. It almost looks like a brand new car. I don't think anybody can guess what I put on the top of that engine cover to make it look like this and to prevent the dust from collecting on it. So I want you to take a look at my shoes here. These are my work shoes. I don't polish them. I just wear them to work every day. And 30 days ago, right there on my right foot, I spilled some of this product on there and wiped it off. I wasn't intending to polish my shoes, but look, I haven't done anything with these shoes. And you can see, yeah, this one's not too bad, you know, but look at the dust and the dirt right there. And then look at over here on the right one that has that super special product on there. Can you believe that? Particularly the fact that it doesn't collect dust. Here's a good one right here. A couple weeks ago, I said to myself, where can I find some really faded plastic piece and put a little of that product on there? Those of you who've been around the W123, you know how hard it is to get this piece to look nice. I've tried about every back to black product you can imagine on the market, and this always seems to come back as a faded gray. So I threw some of this on there, just wiped it on this section right here, and I've been driving the car and I've had it sitting out in the rain the last 3 days, and look at the difference. Now granted, I didn't even buff this, I just put some on there and kind of wiped it. Can you believe this? I may package it as a secret product and call it Miracle Protectant. Flashing back to the original video, I put some of the protectant just on half, and you can see the difference. Then after I filmed the video, I went ahead and covered the whole thing, and this has been over 2 months, and look at how nice that looks. Now I applied the Miracle Protectant to this 4 days ago and just let it sit overnight and then lightly buffed it. And look at the original down here. This is what most of the plastic and rubber trim looks like on these old cars. So I decided, hey, let's go ahead and package this for sale, but I wanted to do it in a nice applicator bottle that would be easier to use when applying this. So this is a squeeze bottle with a locking cap, so you're not going to lose your cap. And the important thing to remember is you don't need a lot of this when you do this. So you're just going to put a few drops on here like this. Now watch. So you can see how far this is going to go. Now I'm not rubbing that hard here. I want to make sure I get a full coat on here. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to leave that, just like you see, it's wet. I'm going to leave that overnight, let it soak into the plastic, and then I'm going to come back and buff it. That's the process of application on this. You put it on fairly thin but wet, let it sit overnight, and come back and buff it. But this is a very handy bottle. You can go ahead and lock the cap down when you're done, so you can set it down and it's not going to drip or spill. Now let's talk about this old bumper rubber. This is probably one of the hardest things to get looking nice and staying nice. I'm going to emphasize staying. There's lots of ways you can clean this. There's lots of stuff you can throw on these. But long term, I tell you, they come back to that ugly grayish black look. There's a couple problems with it. These get extreme exposure to UV. They develop this roughness to them. As the rubber starts to deteriorate, you're going to feel this and going to feel real rough. And what you don't want to do is just come in and start rubbing this with Protectant. You're going to end up using an awful lot of Protectant because it's going to want to soak into all that roughness. So the first thing you want to do is you want to clean this. And I found the very best way to clean this is to use small Scotch-Brite pad and Dawn heavy duty degreaser. I did a video on this probably a year ago showing and demonstrating the results that you can get out of using this, but you want to get this thoroughly clean. You know, just light movement. You don't want to scratch the rubber. And then you want to let it thoroughly dry. And at this point, you can come in and use a Protectant. But I'm going to use my Miracle Protectant because I don't want to have to do this again in 6 months. Now, as I showed you earlier, I'm just wiping on a thin coat. And we're going to let this soak. You'll probably actually see it start to soak in as I do this. And I normally let this sit overnight before I wipe it. If I see any spots that are getting real dry right away, probably this top edge, I'll put a little more on there. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to let this sit for 2 hours because I want to be able to show you the results. I won't be around tomorrow to film this. But when you do all 4 corners, plus this rubber on the front and the back of these 123 bumpers, it's going to almost look like a new car. I started to walk away and I realized just right in this area, look, it's already started to dry out. So I'm going to put another light coat on here. You want this wet before you walk away from it. So when you do let it set overnight, you're going to come back and just buff it. And you're not going to see any dry spots. I just have to show you this. I had this dirty old speaker switch in Old Spence here, and it was broken on the edge. I decided to get another one. They all look like this. They sit there and get all kinds of dirt, coffee, whatever else you want to spill on your center console. But look at what this Miracle Protectant can do for very fine detailing on plastic parts. And that's been 3 or 4 days ago that I did this. Okay, it's time to buff this. Watch what happens. Look at that. Amazing. I'm going to end this video talking about personal safety. The first thing is the gloves. Do not apply this without gloves. It's so slippery, you will feel it on your skin for hours after you have worked with it. And that means it's probably not healthy for your skin. So always wear gloves when working with this Miracle Protectant. Now right below me, I'm going to show you another picture of my shoes. I know you're saying, well, Kent, we're tired of looking at your shoes. Well, this is kind of funny because it's been almost 4 months when I accidentally spilled some of this on this right leather shoe, and look at the left one. Now, you're going to say, Kent, you're cheating. You've been polishing. No, I haven't done anything to these. I haven't even wiped these off. These are the shoes I wear in the shop. But look at that. Miracle Protectant on leather, 4 months. And notice the lack of dust. But look at over here, this one. It's all dirty and dusty. Now, I'm not recommending that you use this on leather because I don't have any long-term tests on how it will affect leather, but it certainly works great on old shoes. And finally, be very careful what you spill this stuff on. Look at this. 4 months ago, I accidentally spilt this on my pants, my shop pants. And I know some of you are thinking, that's no problem. You just get some OxyClean or try some degreaser and get that out. Nope. These pants have been washed 3 times in the last 4 months, including using double strength OxyClean, and those spots will not come out. I can't guarantee this is going to protect your pants, but I have a hunch if I left these out in the sun for 2 years, this section here would not rot. I know what some of you are thinking. I know what some of you are saying. Hey, Kent, that's a lot of work. Who needs protectant anyway on these plastic and rubber parts? Well, this is a classic example because this piece of plastic over 40 some years got a tremendous amount of UVs through that rear glass, and look what's happened to it. Oh yes, this is why you need to protect your plastic parts.